sun come up. Ganja smoking, they got rum in me cup. Bad gals wind up on the dance floor. All the gals wind up on the dance floor.
Hello. What's your mic? Bro, I can't even hear your mic.
I was gonna say, wait, there we go. I was gonna say, bro, I can't even hear myself. Alright, Chad! I'm back, baby. I'm back. Chad, how you guys doing? It is a New York session. You got the 2Gs in the building. I hope you guys are ready for it. There's a lot that we think is going to happen. They could get some very beautiful, beautiful moves. As I said to you guys, once we had some updates for you guys, the man was going to come out the cupboard again. So we thought it's a good time for him. But Chris, how are you doing today, brother?
Chad,
we're going to start disliking the stream at this point.
250 likes and we dropping. Keeks, we better start phoning Vodacom to migrate that.
There we check. There's our first, Chad. First dislike on the stream.
No, Chad, I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. If we get to 250, that number is going. Keeks, that's the first time in a while I've seen this man sweat. But no, we won't, but we will. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, Chad, giving I love you all. I love you guys, but if my number got leaked, I might as well just throw my phone away at this point. It's useless to me then. But
Oh, I love it.
but yeah, Chad, it's
it.
it's good to be around. We're actually a little bit earlier today, so we're gonna see what's gonna happen, what the market's gonna get for us. We'll talk a little bit about the
Oh.
fundamentals and what's happening. But before Chris gets to Uno Reverse, because he's never actually here, Chris, you gonna open us up
I
with the prayer,
will,
brother?
I will, Chad. I will.
We
It
just
will-
got to make sure he still has it there in him.
Hey, alrighty, Chad. No, it will be an honor for me to pray with you guys. So I think before we start, let's bow our heads. Let's get ready for prayer, and let's get this session going. Father, I just want to thank you for another day. Thank you for bringing each and everyone back safely here today over the weekend. We also want to take this time to thank you for all of the mothers that we celebrated on Sunday. Lord, I just pray that you will go with all mothers. There's a lot of single mothers out there as well, Father. There's a lot of mothers struggling financially, physically, emotionally, Lord, and we just pray that you will be with them where they are. Just meet them right there where they are at. And I also pray for each and every member here. As we go about this trading session, I pray that you will give us guidance and insight. And we also want to thank you for all of the favor that you've already bestowed upon us, Father. Thank you for giving us the mindset. Thank you for giving us a sound mind. Thank you for giving us the opportunity every single day here to engage with the community. Thank you for giving us the resources, the tools to do what we love here every single day, Father. And above all else, we pray that your name will be glorified. Not our own name, Father. We pray that we will reflect every bit of glory, every bit of honor, every bit of praise just right back onto you, Lord. And we pray this and we ask this not because we are deserving of it, but purely because your grace and your mercies are new every single day, Chad. And if you believe it, you can drop an amen right now. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful stuff there, guys.
Amen.
You guys can drop an amen because you know if there's more than two, he is here and present with us.
What must I check? What must I check?
Right. Chad, but
Alright.
without further ado, let's get this ball rolling. Starting us off with the fundamental chat. So you guys are going to see pretty much some yellow folders, nothing too really happening yet today. But that's not the case. The case is actually there's some big news that happened today, and that is obviously with relations to the US and China. So China really dropping those tariffs from 125 all the way down to 10. So big news there. Very, very bullish news for the dollar. So I think a lot of guys are going to be looking at things going to be a bit interesting. But the thing we always talk about is when these news events happen and things like that happen, it's been priced in, obviously. It's been priced in very, very much for that market. But now we need to see it happen and how it reacts to it in the London session. So let's start off here with the dollar. And we guys are going to see they're very, very much bullish on that side. We spoke about the idea of why we said we were neutral there today. And that purely came down to the... Let me just do that, Chad. It's going to bother me. We started off with the idea that we were basically on this monthly pivot. And we did have a little bit of a gap up. So we wanted to see what was going to happen from that point onwards. And the thing for me is we traded bullish now. Had that big news come out. And we'll go down. You'll see it a lot more clearer on that smaller time frame. But literally tested that weekly R2 already 1% up on the day. So when we start dropping down on the 15... You guys are going to see it over there. We still actually have a gap to the downside. And the big thing for us is, let me just turn this off while we are busy here, guys. So literally you're going to have that move and everything playing there. So what we could get is trading bullish, coming back up, weekly R2, dropping down again. So what we want to see is any type of moves are breaking back to this key level and the test over here. So this is going to be our A point. See what happens there. Otherwise, if we get back above daily R3, we hold, we carry on moving bullish. Because again, it was really a bullish news release. It is for the dollar, so we want to see how that's going to play out. In a day like that where something trading happens, I always say to you, then you're not going to have retail also need to go back for that gap closure. But this thing can just continue going one way. NASDAQ, you guys are going to see almost the same thing over here, so definitely going a lot more bullish. We have a very, very neutral outlook on this, and that purely comes down to the idea that we are now trading. So this was that little high level, so bodily highs. We broke through that, we're on the next level over there. So we're going to monitor it. But as we said, once you started to break above this, this is where, again, yearly pivot held. We pulled back, closure above those daily key levels. We already were leaning a bit more to the bullish side. And again, with the idea that that news event was going to come out. And that's exactly what happened. If you're in the London session, you guys can go back and you can watch my analysis. I spoke to the guy saying, when session opens, we can expect that this news is going to drop, and that literally happened on the T, coming bullish and seeing these things jump to the top side. So breaking through those levels, holding up here. There is the thing for me, guys, that it can have a potential pullback to at least a level of support, so a valid area. So something like, let's say, this weekly R2, even those daily bodily highs, to at least find support to then naturally, we want to call it, continue bullish. So we'll just monitor that and see what happens there. US 30, again, same thing there, guys. You're going to see the big thing for us was obviously what I didn't like and why we stayed neutral, even on the weekly. Let's just change that quickly. The reason we stayed neutral was purely because we had the idea that we basically broke the yearly pivot with a gap, which I don't really like about that one. So the idea again that we could come back down, as I was saying with the NASDAQ, finding varied areas, so weekly R1, otherwise coming all the way back down to the yearly to hold support, even if we don't close that gap, but just to hold support and then continue bullish. But at this rate, we are just going one way, and that's not really a problem. Again, as I said, when you have these type of days, we could have a really big day. We could have a day where we see US30 already 2.3% up on the day. It could be closing 4%, 5%, as I say, NASDAQ already 3.8% up on the day. So definitely want to take note of that. So if this thing does continue that momentum, especially above that weekly resistance, we can see this move just continue, and we'll just scale in. We're not going to try to swing for the fence, but if we can get an option to basically hold out and go nicely with it and just basically trail stops, things like that, we'll try and push it as far as we can. Then lastly, with gold, we wanted to see that reverse move. As you guys know, I am bearish on the pair. But again, what does that mean? If you guys seen, if you're listening to anything else we were saying over here, we want those pullbacks. This was obviously the previous thing that we can get rid of that. But what we wanted to see was the pullback. So if you see there, we broke that yearly resistance. Same thing we spoke to you guys about in London, that we were going to come down, break this yearly with momentum. And that's exactly what's happened. Now we are now underneath that monthly. The big thing for me, and I always say this to you guys, is that retracement, that pullback to retest. So we broke this with all that momentum and no resistance. So either if we hold now underneath this monthly pivot, we re-break previous weekly lows, I'll look to sell over there. But if we can get above this and at least get up to that yearly, you're going to see previous day lows are also there. So perfect area for us to test. And then again, if we reject, start looking for those sells. If we get back above, find support, start looking for those longs. But I am definitely a bit more bearish on gold. But that does still mean I want that pullback before I really would love to get in on those sells and start to maybe hold the position. But that's everything from me, guys. Chris, over to you, brother.
Keegs, that was incredible. Alrighty, Chad, let's just see if everybody's here. Alright, everybody's here. Drop a 1 in the chat if you still kicking, your account is still kicking, and you still, you haven't blown your account. Just let me know. Drop a 1, you haven't blown your account. Drop a 2 if you have blown your account, and then drop a exclamation prayer if you're about to give up on your trading. Exclamation prayer if you're about to give up on your trading and things are not looking up. Let's just get that sorted. We've got some time here. 1s, some 2s. All right, it's not over until it's over. All right, so stick in there, stuck in. Yeah. Anyways, alrighty, Chad. Dollar index on the weekly, bullish for me on the week. Very simply put, I was talking about it last week that I am still bullish on the dollar. Looking at the weekly time frames, I mentioned to you guys we had a nice, beautiful, confirmed support there. 2 consecutive candles in the same direction. That is what I use as a valid support, not just 1 candle, 2 candles. Why would I use 2 consecutive candles? Let me just drop some education here for you guys. The reason for that is because if you look at the highs of candles, the highs and the lows of candles can also be seen as structure levels. So with that being said, if you get 2 consecutive candles in the same direction, very likely the highs are higher and the lows are also higher in this case. So that's why I look for 2 candles in the same direction. Then a support for me is confirmed. I hope that makes sense for you guys. So I'm still bullish on the dollar on the weekly time frame. I'm expecting us to pull back into this zone. or at least 50%, where I think we are currently sitting at the 50% level right now. There we go. So quite a big level to monitor now going into the rest of the week. I'm going to say this entire zone, that 50 and this 61.8, 62. But overall, we are bullish, broke above last week's high. And now we are continuing to the upside on the daily. That is my daily level to the upside. And now we are currently trading into that previous daily support area that got broken down. So as a matter of fact, last week I mentioned to you guys we were trading in somewhat of a range here, and I said as soon as we break out, that is going to be clean cut, clear sailing towards the upside. Drop a 4 in the chat if I actually said that, or if I'm just full of myself saying that I did say it but I didn't say it. Drop a 4 in the chat if I said last week if we close above here, a clean move towards the upside. Otherwise people will think I'm just full of myself here. So these are the zones that we're currently trading in. And I am now looking to see what the dollar is going to do here at 101.53, which is also a half round number. And then dropping down to the lower time frames, let's start to see where we are trading. Okay. Weekly R2, we are already trading quite a bit away from Asia highs. I do expect some type of correction at least to this weekly R1 because we've rejected the weekly R2. I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back into that zone. So daily R3 back into that daily R2. I would love to see a nice corrective move to the downside. Otherwise, the other side of the coin is we're actually going to just be stuck in this range for the rest of the session as NYSE basically starts to digest what happened this morning with the Trump announcement. All right, so I'm going to lean towards the potential corrective side to the downside. Jumping over to NASDAQ, I must just check my time here. I don't want to overkill you guys with the analysis. But jumping back to NASDAQ, and I want to ask you guys a question. After we get a weekly candle like this, do we expect a low volume week or a high volume week? All right. After a weekly candle like this, do we expect a low volume week or do we expect a high volume week? I just want to see what is happening in the chat there. What is the expectation after a candle like that? High volume, all right. Why do we expect high volume after a candle like that? I want to ask you guys. So we're expecting a high volume week, but why do we expect a high volume week? Just want to see here. I'm going to say hold my beer. No, so we expect a high volume week because if you think about it, the body of the weekly is very small. So there's a lot of volume trapped both sides. And if you've got a title body like that, it just means that that is volume compression, or you can think of it as an accumulation phase. The same as when we had this massive 16% up day a couple of weeks ago. You would expect smaller ranges, so exactly the same. So I would have expected quite a big range this week. And then also looking at the ranges, same ranges that we've been working with since last week, is basically this zone on the weekly. This has been a key zone on the weekly for us to monitor from this level. That is technically for the supply and demand guys. That is an order block. All right, so this order block has now been reversed. It went from a supply order block to a demand order block, but I just see it as a broken support and now failing to act as resistance. And last week we closed back inside of this range, and that was the retest. This is also type 5 for the MFX members. All just lines up with everything that we teach and then we talk about here. So now my thing is we're trading into this neckline of this potential M formation, And on the weekly, we only have 2 ranges that we need to monitor. And those 2 ranges are going to be range 1, and that's going to be range 2. So range 2 is going to be the bearish range. If we start to reject here, come and close that gap, retest there, potentially then to come back up. Or we're going to continue bullish, and we will be trading to the upper end of range 1. Okay, so I am bullish on the week, 100% bullish. Daily, I would have started off my day with a neutral outlook because we've got this unconfirmed resistance. Now coming back to why is this resistance unconfirmed? Because we didn't have a follow-up bearish day. And now effectively we are trading quite a bit away from this daily open level, and looking on the daily, this key level still applies. It's actually more here. That is where that key level is sitting. And then I'm going to say on the daily, we've got another key level up there. Okay, so this is going to be our range, dropping down to a lower time frame. Let's see where we are trading contextually. Okay, nice little big push to the upside. There's that weekly R2 untested. Point of control is here currently. So if we hold this point of control, we can go higher. We can then go to the weekly R3, the monthly R1, even potentially all the way up there. Or what's going to happen is we are going to basically fail to hold the point of control, and we are going to correct this move all the way down to the weekly R2. So big zone to monitor now going into the session. It's going to be right here, 2814. Okay. I still have time. Sorry, Keegs. I'm giving the guys some bang for their buck. They pay quite a bit of money to be here every day, so got to give them everything we have. All right, going over to US 30. I'm just going to delete these point of control levels quickly for us. On the weekly, exactly the same that we had with NASDAQ. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Here it is. Okay, weekly time frame. Last week also closing ab roller bullish, closing right up against that zone there, and then also we've got this minor zone there. So now effectively, if we start trading into this zone, you can already see which zone we are targeting. So if we hold above this zone, this is going to be our weekly trading range, the bullish range to the upside. This range right here is going to be our bearish range. Okay, so I'm bullish. I do know that we've got that gap down there. Trump could say something silly a little bit later in the week, but we'll see. Daily as well. Nice daily key level there to the left. You can clearly see it. And then we've got another range high there. So potentially 24,650 today. Otherwise, we could reverse. Me personally, I would like a short, to be very, very honest, but it might not happen here. Point of control is still sitting down here. And if I look at where we are, Asia eyes untested. Weekly R2 currently acting as rejection. So I would not be surprised if we trade all the way back down here. And if we fail to hold here, it's going to be a very sharp move into Asia eyes. Okay, so for me, currently, only way I can get long on US 30 is above this weekly R2. Otherwise, I'm liking the short idea to get into these zones down here, and then potentially we can retarget the highs. Gold, let's quickly look at gold. I'm currently long on gold. I'll talk about that a little bit later in the session. Up about 300 pips on gold. And on the weekly, let's quickly look at the weekly. Weekly for me is a little bit tricky. I just want to bring something up for you guys. Just give me 1 second here. Alrighty, Chad. So bootcamp this weekend, we actually spoke a little bit about the gold seasonality chart, and I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me just maybe pull this up a little bit. As you can see, around about middle May, close to the end of May, we go into our bearish phase for gold up until mid-June. All right, so there's a bit of seasonality behind the idea that gold can go bearish. Also, for the idea to go bearish is that there's been a lot of positive workings with trade deals being cut. between Trump, China, the UK, the EU. So everyone's starting to come to the table. And I also told you guys, if you think about financial markets, they are always going to expect the worst. They're always going to price in the worst. So when things aren't as bad as you expected, it gives a very positive effect on the markets. Personally, for me, I am neutral on the week on gold. It is range bound. This is not a confirmed support. This is also not a confirmed resistance, or it is a confirmed resistance. And for that fact, we're going to be very nimble on our feet here this week with gold. Gold also on the daily, this is that range that we've been talking about since last week, these two effective ranges. Currently no top wick on gold, and also currently no corrective move on the lower time frame. So on the day, still bearish. I am looking long into 23.52. There's a reason why I'm looking at that level. Hopefully that level can get tapped. That is where I'm looking. Monthly pivot a little bit up ahead. Daily S2. If we do reject that daily S2, we're coming all the way back down to daily S3. If we hold daily S2, we can even trade all the way back to this point of control there. All right, Chad. You can see that there's little to no volume in this block. So what's going to happen is that if we eventually hold here and price comes in here, it's just going to slice through it like a hot knife through butter. And you're going to almost see the same way it came down. You're going to see it come up. All right, so that's the idea. Otherwise, if we reject here, we are going back to the lows of the day and even lower. And then I'm just quickly going to blitz GU for the GU boys. GU on the weekly, not that clean. Relatively messy looking at the weeklies. Quite a bit of rejection at 133.80. Last week closing bullish, but closing bullish up against that resistance area. Now taking a previous weekly low, I'm going to say if we are going to flip bullish on the week, please monitor that previous weekly low, but I'll go neutral into this week. Daily time frame as well. We spoke about it last week. Very, very messy little range here that we are currently stuck in. And Friday actually closed back inside of the range, failed to actually hold inside it. So today's daily close is going to be very critical to understand whether this is now officially the breakout out of this range and that we are going to start moving towards the downside. Let me just show you guys, because if we close bearish today, that is our next target there, 13100, and then eventually we're going to make our way into this range. So effectively we've got three ranges on GU. This is going to be our range 1, range 2, and this is going to be range 3. So you just have to monitor it on the daily, and those could be the levels you target. That is that previous weekly low. Please monitor that. That is going to be a critical level going into this session and into the rest of the week. All right, there's the previous daily low. This is where we are potentially going to reject, and we're going to retest the lows, or we're going to regain that and make our way back up to Asia lows. All right, GJ, last one, then I'm done. Keys, you've got the one, eh? No, you don't. You don't. There's it. Sorry, chat, I'm almost done. I don't know why this feels so long, but I want to keep it conclusive here for you guys. Clear and concise. GJ on the weekly. Let's just remove everything. Let's start fresh. GJ on the weekly, I've told you guys I've been bullish. All of these bullish candle closures, we cannot be bearish on that. Last week closing bullish below this range here. Now effectively trading above it. So while we hold above that, this is going to be our bullish range. Otherwise, if we start trading back bearish, we can come all the way down. But currently, it is holding bullish. Daily for me as well, I would have been bullish coming into the day. Why would I have been bullish? I was bullish on Friday. I'm bullish now because we held above this breakout zone, and we can effectively now trade higher into this zone where we are almost currently trading at. And then also we've got this minor zone here. All right. I say it's not actually, it's a major zone looking at it now, because it's a major zone. Somebody asked in the boot camp, how do you identify key levels? This, for instance, for me is a key level. Resistance, support, resistance again. That is a beautiful key level that we are trading from. So Now very close to that flat body resistance area. Let's see the lower time frame to get some context. Daily R3, this is going to be a trending day unless we start trading below these rejection levels. Otherwise, what you'll see is we'll just continue all the way higher to your daily R4.
There we go, Chad. That's it. Markets open round 2. Ding, 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 ding. Fight.
There we go, Chad. Daily R3, there's your daily R4. So very likely GJ could continue to your daily R4 level. Otherwise, if we start rejecting and we start trading below this zone, that is the only way that I can look to get short, because this is then effectively your range to the downside there and longs above here. So 2 scenarios. If we continuously reject here, we are going to fill out this range here. If we hold there, we can trade back in the range and this thing can just chop inside of this range. Otherwise, continuations above there. But Chad, that is the effective analysis. Ooh, Kigo, I need to pee. But that 1 minute, I'm going to just throw on your screen. I have to pee. Sorry, Chad. It's on your screen, eh? Don't drop any sauce here.
I'm going to try not to. Come on, you reached today. Perfect little retest there. Gonna wait here, Chad. Hopefully get some sauce here. Hopefully we can get some sauce here. Come on, give us something. Ooh. The 1 minute about to give a sell here, guys. I don't know why it's not showing yet. Oh, I don't have it on me. That would help. Do we take it, Chad? Do we take it? How big are our stops looking? A 60 pip stop. It's not the worst. Not the worst we've seen. Do we take it? Just do it. Sell the news. Hey, Austin knows the plan, yeah. Just gave a sell, eh? It's about to.
Has it printed?
Literally now.
Oh, I'm taking it. Juicy. Oh, that stop is tight though, bro. Yo. Oh yeah, I checked. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I know it's risky.
Let's see.
But I like it. Just as a corrective move. Could get clapped, yeah. 100%. Quick. But also, we've been waiting for this one. What is this?
Yeah, it could be it's a 60 pip stop basically.
I'm not gonna buy it these eyes. 100% not buy.
Yeah, it's not a bad move. That's the thing for me. It's not terrible.
No, we know it's super bullish, but also we know a lot of things. Alrighty. Joe, that stop is just very tight. Whew.
Yeah, it's
That is a very tight stop.
I don't know how I feel about that stop.
I put mine a little bit higher just to
Give it some breathing space.
just with this volatility, but I like it. I'm in. My gold has pulled back quite dramatically.
Just drop for us.
Alrighty, there we go. Waited for that one. Waited for that one. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. I still wanted to show the guys Bookmap quickly. Let's keys. I'm just going to throw over to Bookmap. Chad, quick one. Bookmap order flow currently net positive. Currently trading below VWAP. There's your point of control on Bookmap. A little bit higher where we're currently rejecting. So if we can hold below VWAP and we can see some seller pressure come in, I do think we can go lower. But as soon as we start holding above VWAP, I think we are going back to the highs. But if we can hold below VWAP, that is going to be a nice short, a corrective move. But otherwise, I am ready to flip bullish if we start holding above VWAP and above this point of control. Gold, let's quickly look at gold here on the volume. Currently, order flow is net negative, barely flipped bullish on these highs. Currently trailing all the way above VWAP. VWAP sitting about 60 pips lower. So let's see what gold does there. Quite a bit of spread volume here. You can see there quite a little bit of a cluster on the, oh, you guys can't see it. Wait, let me do this. There's it. Quite a cluster here on the session volume profile for gold. So it's not really one spot. It's just been chugging along towards the upside. But again, if we hold above VWAP, that's going to be relatively positive for me. Then going over to NASDAQ. Weirdly enough, NASDAQ, quite a bit of seller pressure in the market. Volume delta almost down 3,000 cons. Massive point of control here. You can see a very concentrated point of control here. That is that range. Finally broke away from it. A lot of seller pressure here. No retest on VWAP yet. So I don't necessarily like the sells in these lows, but if we can start breaking lower, I think we can go substantially lower. So that is what the volume is telling us on Bookmap. And then on Iron 2000, giving us that 1 minute sell, which I said could be a little sticky. Could be a little sticky. I think that is me out. No, still barely in. Let's see. Oh no, I'm still in. I put it a little bit higher.
Did you not go break even on TP1?
No.
You're all
No. So I entered on that. So my entry is a little bit higher. Basically on that top wick where it says sell.
Yeah.
So my entry is on that top wick. But I'm still in, unfortunately. I didn't go break even at TP1. I'm about to get clobbered here. Yeah, I'm out there. I'm out. 0.5%. Where's US 30? Let's actually check the 30 minute.
Something I want to watch, yeah.
I just want to put this on quickly for you guys. Here is the session volume profile. The same with NAS. We've got a point of control there sitting at that 200 EMA. We've got another point of control sitting lower there, and then currently the daily point of control is sitting down here. All right. So if we get, I'm going to take one more jab at the shorts if we get it. So if we get a break below this point of control here, and we reject, I like the shorts into that level there. But if we hold above this level, effectively this just becomes your consolidation for your next leg higher. All right, so then you're going to consolidate in this broader consolidation. Once you break out here, you're going to get your next leg on the volume chart. But for me personally, I'm more inclined towards the shorts. So the only zone I'm going to be monitoring for the rest of this session is around here. I want to see what do we do around this level. Then gold, iron 2000. Let me just put iron 2000. Oh yeah, for the Project G members, you can filter now. So if you enable the filter, that is version 2. If you take the filter off, it's version 1. Because I know some of you asked for the older version.
Hey, we're getting fancy now. We're getting fancy now, Chad.
Why is the indicators taking so long to load?
I have a plan, yeah. We're working with a plan, Chad.
What are you looking at? Okay, Chad, there you can see it. In Project G this morning, I said I'm not looking to sell gold at all on the 1 minute. I said I'm only looking for buys on the 1 minute with Iron 2000. There was the first one. I held through this one. I told Keeks he knows what level I'm targeting. So I took my first one there. We didn't take any sells. I just want to take a screenshot. Where is Project G? Just while we're busy with the final update, we give a bias for it is only for the 1 minute, Chad. I just want to show you guys quickly. Let me just show you guys. This was this morning, 10 o'clock. I posted it in Project G. I said, hey, everyone, so till NYSE session, here's my bias on the 1 minute for IRON 2000. Gold buys, US 30 sells, NAS 100 sells, looking to correct that tariff candle. So only signal we got was the buys on gold. Did we get anything on NASDAQ though, Keeks?
NAS, we got...
Did we get a sell?
Nothing on the 5. On the 1 minute, we got a sell. TB2.
Damn, bro.
No, so it's TB2. And the 15...
So
15
that will be coded in purely for the 1 minute in the newer version, IRON 1000. Which is going to be purely for, okay, there, that sell got a stop, but this one is now going. Gave some buys as well this morning, 10 o'clock. Only gave buys, jeez. But yeah, I said I'm staying out of those buys. They could work, but for me, the sell is the one that I'm looking at.
So hold on just again. So filter is what is version 2 without filter is version 1.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Still like the trade, guys. We just gotta
Wait a little.
Gotta wait. It's a waiting game nowadays.
Alrighty, chat. Volume is still dropping here. On the delta, you can see making a new low on the volume delta, so buyers aren't really involved here. Gonna need to see some type of volume push. Can gold give us that last roar?
You're still in that position.
Bro, I don't think I've ever held a position this long. 230.
Hey, well,
but
it's a good
you-
position though.
But you know why I'm holding.
Nah, no. And it's nearly there, bro.
Yeah, it literally needs to give us this pop now.
Nah, it was a good position.
Alrighty. Let's see US 30. US 30.
Come on, US today. Gold wicked me at break even and then ran without me.
Is that it?
Yep.
Is that it?
Yes.
Yay! Chad, so Ed, that is going to be the first merch we get. The first merch line we're going to do with Ed is I just got wicked and that thing ran to TP, or it just wicked my stop and it ran to TP. Alrighty, Chad, quite a bit of selling going on here. Let's just see what the iron is doing.
I don't like how Chris knew that was me.
Ed, but we know you, bruv. We are with you every single day. So we know the ins and outs of Big Edel. Alright, Chad, in the next 2 minutes, my print to sell. That's going to be the last sell for me on the indices. And then we'll see if she can do a number for us.
Just send this one, bro. You just gotta trust it and
Full send.
just full send it.
Did you put your filter off?
No, it's on why?
Then it won't print.
Is it not gonna print it now? Do you think it's gonna print one?
No, if you look at you know what, below the 24, so it won't print. I still want to take it though.
No, I'm liking it.
But
It's
you
not
just-
doing what I wanted yet.
But it still needs to break those eyes. I'll wait for
Yeah.
one more push. I'll wait for one more push.
If I miss it, I miss it, but we have a plan, yeah. Here comes that push. We have a plan.
Did you say I must not be a what?
If there are people that were on a boot camp, guys, they'll know what we're talking about.
All right, Chad. I asked DeepSeek what is happening with the latest on China. China. And this is what DeepSeek said, because I haven't watched the news since this morning. US-China have agreed to a 90-day pause in the escalating trade war, significantly reducing reciprocal tariffs to de-escalate tensions and revive bilateral trade. Here are the key details and market implications. Key terms of the agreement. Tariff reductions. The US will lower tariffs on Chinese goods from 145 to 30, while China will reduce tariffs on US imports from 125 to 10, effective May 14. That's in 2 days. The 115 percentage point cuts are temporary and exclude 20% US tariffs on fentanyl-related imports, which remain in place. Suspended retaliatory measures. China agreed to suspend export restrictions on rare earth minerals, anti-monopoly probes, and other non-tariff countermeasures. Negotiation mechanism and bilateral forum led by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese Vice Premier He He Lifing will oversee further talks. Market reactions. Equities surge that we've seen European stocks, including shipping giants like Maersk and luxury firms like Louis Vuitton, surge on hopes of revived trade flows. Currency and bonds. US dollar strength against the euro, while treasury yields rose as risk appetite improved. Commodities, oils jumped right. Expert analysis, short-term optimism. Analysts call the deal a dream scenario and better than expected. With Wedbush, Dan Ives predicting new market highs in 2025. Back to capitalism. Yay, capitalism. The reduction alleviates supply chain disruptions and eases recession fears, particularly benefiting tech, manufacturing, and shipping sectors. Let me just keep one on the side here. Economists warn that even reduced tariffs remain higher than pre-Trump levels, potentially dampening long-term growth. Geopolitical and economic implications. U.S. strategy deal aligns with Trump's reciprocal tariffs approach, balancing domestic production incentives with trade rebalancing. The White House framed it as a win for American workers. China's position. Beijing secured a symbolic victory by avoiding concessions while reducing tariffs. Through exporters remain cautious about future volatility. Global impact. The truce eases stagflation risks and could stabilize global trade. Through the EU Chamber of Commerce warned of lingering uncertainty. That's why I said at any stage something weird can come out from Twitter. You know, DT. Negotiation timeline. Talks will resume within weeks with a focus on structural issues like market access and intellectual property. Sectoral shifts. Companies may resume trade but continue diversifying supply chains to mitigate future risks. Political dynamics. The deal temporarily eases US-China tensions but leaves unresolved issues like TikTok's fate and fentanyl control. So the conclusion here from DeepSeek, which is a Chinese AI company that a couple of months ago, I don't know if you remember that crash on NVIDIA, just absolutely knocked ChatGPT in its teeth using GPUs for gaming PCs. While markets celebrate short-term pauses a fragile truce, investors should monitor negotiate. Right, boom. There you go, Chad. AI. How are you using AI, Keeks? Are you using AI?
Every now and again, bro. I asked AI how to win an argument with my partner. It wasn't capable of giving me an answer for that yet, but we trying, guys. We're trying.
Giga, okay, very aggressive here. I'm actually gonna close these longs on gold. Boom. Okay, beautiful.
You want to take a buy?
I want to take a buy.
Bro, I'm watching this now and I'm just like, I was looking at everything. I'm like, NASDAQ's very, very strong. This is bullish news. Do you get the move to have a little bit of a catch up to NASDAQ? And maybe, for example, like tomorrow we'll have our sell off.
Yeah.
After the news is like settled and...
I'm looking at this. There's that bullishness. I'm just going to wait for the 5. I'm going to take it 5 minutes.
Keys want to sleep in the Q5. It's because you tried to use the logical algorithm. Those don't work.
Stops are going to be a little wide because we technically have to have our stops outside of this range. I'm going to go for it, Keeks.
You're going to go for it?
Keeks, I'm going to go for it, bro.
Ooh.
Keeks, I want to go for it, dude. We're only young once. It's almost like some of you guys laying up for a par 5 and you grown men. Grown men don't lay up for par 5s, all right? You go for it.
Yeah, I'd say you have a shot, yeah, bro.
I'm going for it, Kigo.
FX, RSA, 100%, bro. We just trying, though, but 100%. CPI will bring the correction. Ooh. Now the guys are thinking. The guys are thinking now.
Okay, let me...
Oh, damn, we in. Did you
No,
catch
not-
that spike?
No, not yet. 30 seconds.
Oh, man.
Is there something coming out now, Keeks?
No, it's CPI tomorrow, not now.
Okay, but there's nothing
No,
now.
there's nothing now.
All right, chat. 28 seconds. I'm going long here. Please note that this is not financial advice. we do suggest you chat to your financial advisor before making any financial decisions. You will 100% lose all of your money if you follow what we do on here. So please do not do a single thing we do here. All right, Chad, 10 seconds. I'm going long based off the idea that we can push to the upside from this point of control. Also, okay, there we go, Chad. I'm in. Let's give it a shot. I'm in longs. I spoke about it. Stops are going to have to be somewhere down here. I'm going to make it around 100 a ton. 100 is a ton, eh? In cricket.
What?
If you hit a ton, it's 100, yeah. Cricketers, where are you? Have you never heard of it? When you hit your 100, you call it a ton.
As in caps or like
No,
when you're batting?
Batting. Yes, there. 50 cal, yes, a ton. Okay. Chad, I'm
I've
looking...
never heard that before.
Really?
No.
Alrighty, Chad. I'm looking potentially up here. Alright, another 0.73%. We're going off the idea we're holding above this point of control. Also, we're holding above VWAP here and this point of control. We're not now currently holding it, but we were holding it. All right. So this is the idea that we can continue bullish. Okay. That is my idea. The buyer stepped in here above VWAP. We can absolutely get wrecked here, but I'm going off the idea. Obviously now.
That was like, we were holding it.
And also on the 5 minute, this for me was a minor break of structure there. So let's see. It needs to hold this point of control here.
Trump is speaking again.
Is he speaking now?
Whoa. What's Trump saying? Is he actually talking like now already, or is he going to talk? Let's have a look here.
Stop loss is literally there, Chad.
Let's have a look here.
Sniper entry to drawdown.
He is literally talking.
Is he talking
now?
now?
President Trump speaks ahead of trip to Mideast.
Trump. Come on,
I
Trump.
can't hear what he's saying, but
Must I put him on there?
Let's put him on in the corner there. Let's see.
see.
Let's see what he wants to say. He's busy speaking.
Bro, that
currently
is-
live. Hey Lorenzo, we appreciate it, my man. Growing the family.
Did he drop a donor?
No, he was just saying he put 3 of his homies onto 2G, so new family members to join soon.
Okay, here we go, Chad. Let's get serious here. This is serious business.
They were working other jobs instead of working for us. So they were staying home working, but they were working other jobs, getting paid a lot of money perhaps. We offered deferred resignation buyouts to all federal workers, resulting in more than 75,000 bureaucrats voluntarily surrendering their taxpayer-funded jobs. A lot of them are leaving because they don't want to be caught having the second job. Some are leaving because they didn't want to be in government any longer. And some are leaving because they didn't want to show up to work. They wanted to work outside of an office. And that's never going to work for anybody, including companies. Companies ought to get smart. You watch these companies where they do that. They start going bad. Nobody knows what's wrong with this company. Well, try getting the people back into the office where they can be cohesive and together. In less than a single month, the Department of Government Efficiency has already saved over this is just a short period of time, $55 billion. And we're just getting started. That's nothing compared to the numbers that you're talking about, right? We're ending trillions of dollars in waste, and it'll mean much lower inflation, lower interest rates, lower payments on mortgages, credit cards, car loans, and much higher stock markets. I think the stock market's going to be great. In other words, we will rapidly grow our economy by dramatically shrinking the federal government, but we have to do it. I'm also taking
That's the
fast
wrong
action
one.
to end the radical
Really?
left
Like I was saying,
nation
it's the wrong
wrecking
one.
crusade against oil and natural.
Where's the real one then?
What did I see when I searched it?
Sniper entry to drawdown. Live Trump. Latest news. Times now. Let's see. Trump, what are you saying, my brother?
It starts.
Buy high, sell low. Bro, that's what I get from everyone. Unless there's a different one.
They shut down 38% of active oil and gas rigs in the United
have a
States,
different
but they love the wind turbines that go
there
round
was
and
one. I'm
round and
looking,
round.
where's the
The
other
wind
one I
doesn't
saw?
blow, they got problems. They
Ah,
kill all the birds, they ruin the sight lines, they ruin the plane.
Yeah, these.
If you've got a different one,
Yeah,
please
there is
share
a
it.
different one. There's one of him there.
Okay, drop it in the
Okay.
chat.
I'm trying to see.
Trump, go push it bullish for us. Send it. Send it, Trump. Send it up. Here we go. Trump's ready to send it for the boys. Let's go.
There, yeah, it is.
Is it in the chat?
Live Fox. I'm gonna send it now.
Come on, Trumpy. Trumples. Just say the stock
There,
market
I sent it.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
Which is really great news. I mean, to me, it's big news. They thought he was dead. So that's that. So we'll be heading there, and we'll be seeing 3 primary countries. You know all about that: Saudi Arabia,
Yo, bro, that
UAE, Qatar. On Thursday's meeting with Russia and Ukraine is very important. I was very insistent that that meeting take place. I think good things can come out of that meeting. Stop the bloodshed of the horrible. It's a bloodbath.
This is the blood ball.
But that 5,000 more. It's really much more. I'm trying to be conservative. More than 5,000 soldiers. Russian. They're not American soldiers. They're from Russia. They're from Ukraine. But they're people. They're human souls, and they're being
Trump,
killed at
send
levels that we haven't seen since the Second World
Trump,
War.
send it.
And it's every week.
Favorites.
A lot of drone fighting. It's a whole new form of
Send it, Trump.
warfare, and it's violent and vicious. And so that's it. I'd like to go back to China just for a second.
There we go.
They're
That's
very
what I
heavy on
wanted,
the
yeah.
fentanyl. We're charging them, as you know, 20% for the fact that they send fentanyl into our country. And they've agreed that they're going to stop that. And they'll be rewarded by not having to pay,
Here we go.
hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. So the fentanyl should stop. It comes from China. It's amazing. And comes through
It's
our southern
amazing.
border, comes through our northern border too, comes
Send
through
it.
Canada, and comes through our southern border, much more through the southern border. But so that's a very important subject to me, because everybody in this
slowly
room has
reviving
lost
you,
friends
yeah,
Come
bro.
on, Trump. Do
or
it.
people that have family members
Do it
that
for the
have died of
capitalists.
fentanyl. So there's a big
Do it for
incentive for China
capitalism.
to stop, and I take them at their word. They're going to work on that, I think, very hard. And one thing, when they work on something, they get it done. So now I'm about to depart on a historic visit. Some of you are going with us to, as I said, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates. Before I do, I'll sign one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. I don't think there's ever been anything signed like this, certainly not with respect to health care, nothing even close. I'm delighted to be joined on this occasion by Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., who is doing a really good job, I have to tell you that. CMS Administrator, a friend of mine, Dr. Mehmet Oz, who is an amazing guy. You know, I was telling Bobby before,
Come on,
Oz
Trump. What is that?
had a very successful
Trump
show,
is
but it
said
hurt
he's
his
a capitalist, bro.
reputation. Because when you're in show business, it hurts your
Right.
reputation a little bit. It's good for you. It's good for you, but
Trump.
in terms of professionalism and being a doctor, it sort of hurts your reputation. This guy went to the best schools, was the best. I mean,
Trump, bro.
top of the line. Then he did a television show, became a success, made a lot of money, all that stuff. But it sort of hurt him. And you know who I compare that to? I hate to say this, but a special woman. Janine
Special
Pirro.
woman.
She was the toughest, smartest DA maybe in our countries, in our cities and states, history, New York. She was really tough, really sharp. Then she did a show, and people didn't think of her quite the same way. She became more of an entertainment person, like Oz. Oz is not an entertainer. He's not really an entertainer, if you know the real story. And she isn't either. She is unbelievable. She was one of the strongest district
Trump, send it for
attorneys
us.
in the history of New York.
Where's the jets?
Highly respected, very
Send
tough.
the jets.
Went after
Trump
the drug
needs to do
dealers
it.
at a level that you
Where's
don't
these
see
Trump
today anymore.
markets?
And I don't know, hopefully she's going to be,
Relax,
she's
bro.
given
Looks
up a
like Powell
tremendous,
on the far right.
she's leaving the #1 show on
Bro,
cable
this looks
television,
like-
one of the #1 shows on television, period.
Bro, that
The five, but
literally
they've got
looks
great
like
people left
Powell's
behind, but
older
she was a
brother.
big part of it. And so I equated to that.
Bro.
It was unbelievable.
I think it's this guy
FDA
causing this
Commissioner
drawdown.
Dr. Marty McCary with a reputation that's
What
second
is
to
my
none, and
drawdown
the job
currently?
he's
Hey,
doing
it's coming
already
back,
has
bro, it's
been,
coming back.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marty. And
trying-
Director
it's
of
trying.
National Institute of Health, Jay.
The only thing is, bro, you
Who
making a
has
nice
been,
a falling wedge over there.
As you know, from Stanford.
No, bro, we need to hold this.
Started
Like I
open
said, if we
working with
trade
us
below
for
here, we
part of this. And
are.
the question they would ask, being a little bit new to the government aspect of it, is why doesn't somebody fight the drug price situation, meaning equalization? There's a term. It's called equalization. Nobody wants to
Equalization.
mention that term. And
Let's
I'm not knocking
equalize
the
the
drug
market.
companies. I'm really more knocking the countries than the drug companies.
All of them getting
because
spray tans before the speech.
they're forced to do things. But the drug lobby is the strongest lobby in this country, they say, the drug lobby. It's between that and lawyers. And they have a lot of
brother.
power.
Trump, let's
But
keep it
starting today,
positive,
the
my
United
brother.
States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries
go,
where
bro.
they
There you go.
paid a small fraction
There you
of
go.
what-
Yes, let's
for the
go,
same
Trump.
drug.
Let's go, Trump.
that what we pay
You
many,
want to
many
see that
times
little
more
rocket
for.
ship now?
And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma. But
Issue is
again,
it's
it was
struggling at
really the
VWAP,
countries
bro.
that forced Big Pharma to do things that, frankly, I'm not sure they really felt comfortable doing. But they've gotten away with it. These
I think if you
countries,
can get above,
European
then that thing's
Union
gonna go.
has been brutal.
Brutal.
And the drug companies
Brutal.
actually told me stories. It was just brutal how they forced
This is
them.
brutal what
European
you're
Union
doing now
suing
to the
all our
market.
companies, Apple,
You want to go up.
Google, Meta. They're suing
Meta.
all our companies. They end up, they have judges that are
Come on, Trump.
European
Send it. Say something.
Union-centric,
Send it now.
and they get rewarded 15 billion, 17 billion, 20 billion, and they use that to run their operation. Not going to happen any longer, that I can tell you. So what's been happening is we've been subsidizing other countries
Here we
throughout
go.
the world, not just in Europe,
Wrong
throughout the
way.
world. European Union was the most difficult from what I understand. I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a
Oh, bro,
a
now it's going to go
business
up and down.
man,
You've
very,
seen the
very,
story.
very
It's going to get a little
top guy. Most of you
consolidated
would have
now.
heard of him. A highly neurotic, brilliant businessman.
Bro, the
seriously
thing-
overweight.
Seriously
takes the
overweight.
The fat shot drug.
The fat shot.
And he called me up and he said,
Ozempic.
President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy. Very successful, very rich.
Trump behavior
I wouldn't
on
even know
screen,
how
not
we would
like
know
on
this, but
X.
because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London,
No one
and I
cares
just
about your
paid for
friend
this
Trump.
damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on? He said, so I checked. And it's the same box, made in the same plant, by the same company. It's the identical pill that I buy in New York. And here I'm paying $88 in London. In New York, I'm paying $1,300.
Like
Now, this is a
seriously,
great
Axel, what is the
businessman,
point of
so-
the story?
But he's not familiar with
He's,
this
he's
crazy
talking about the
situation that we
drug
have.
monopolization
But he
in
was
the
stunned.
US. So where
That was
companies
just
make their
one of
own
those
prices
stories, and
based
I
off
brought it up
demand.
with the drug companies, represented by somebody who's very, very smart.
So if you've got a very high demand of a certain drug, there's no price stabilization. So the guy in New York is paying $1,300. A guy in London is paying $80. So there needs to be some type.
Yeah.
I can no longer they've been justifying this crap for years. They said, oh, it's research and development. Well, I said, well, research
We
and
do some
development, other
research
countries should
and
pay research and development too.
Come on, Trump, send it now. Send
It's
it.
just one of those things. And the other countries would set a price,
Ooh,
and they'd meet
here
the
we're gonna
price,
get
and they'd
nuked.
say,
Trump is almost the
if you
same
don't meet
color
the
as the
price, you
orange
can't
book
sell it in
behind
our
me.
country.
We're
I
about
said,
to
well,
get-
then you walk away, and, they'll call you back, and they'll sell it in the country. But now they'll have to do that. So for the first time in many years, we'll slash the cost of prescription drugs, and We will bring fairness to
Not
America.
good.
Drug prices will come down by much more, really, if you think 59. If you think of a drug that is sometimes 10 times more expensive, it's much more than the 59%. You know, it depends on the way you want to analyze it. But in one way, you could analyze it that way. But between 59 and 80, and I guess even 90%. So
Bro, what are we doing
when I
here?
worked so hard in the
This
first
market is
term,
right.
and if I got prices down,
You'd only go at
I was the only
anyway.
one to ever get prices down for a full year, but I'd get them down like 2%, and I thought it was like a big deal. Well, we're getting them down 60, 70, 80, 90%, but actually more than that if you think about it in the way mathematically. And Farmer has to say, we're sorry, but we'll not be able to do this any longer to these countries that have been so tough. They've been very tough, nasty. It's trade. It's trade.
Nasty.
And Pharma is also very powerful. And the Democrats have protected Pharma. The Democrats, this is the Democrats
Just
have
send it,
protected
bro.
Pharma. These are the
Send it
Democrats.
for
And by
us.
the way, I just called the Speaker of the House, and I just called the leader, our leader in the Senate, John Thune, Mike Johnson. Spoke to both of them. I said, when you score, you're going to have to score two
Bro,
things. You're going
my
to have to, number one,
offshore
score that
portfolios now
hundreds
positive
of
for the
billions of
first
dollars
time
of
this year.
tariff money is coming in.
Chad, I just want to
You're gonna have to
publicly
score that
announce
you're
I'm up 2.1%
for
on my
Medicaid,
offshore
Medicare,
portfolio.
And just
Currently
basically
leading the pack.
pharmaceuticals and drugs is
Tesla
going down at a
14.2%.
level that nobody has
Vanguard
ever
US total
seen before.
stock
It'll take
ETF up 0.33. Vanguard S&P 500 up 1.46. Charles Schwab US dividend equity down 3.31. Nvidia up 5.5%. I did average in on these. My iShares by BlackRock. Dow Jones US ETF is currently flat, just slightly down 0.28%. And then my QQQ is up 0.24%. So those are... But I told you I will never bet against my boy Elon Tusk.
in cases of 10 times higher. So
Chris,
that
it
you
looks
go
like
10
Trump will send
times
it
more
there. Just hope this
expensive for the
bus
same drug, that's
don't
big
get too off
numbers.
before he
Even
sends
though
it
the
low.
United States is home to
Just
only
said
4% of the world's population. Pharmaceutical companies.
Come
Hey,
on,
bro,
Trump.
there we go.
There we
Profits
go,
in America.
Chad.
So think of that. With 4% of the population,
Send the bulls in
the
now.
pharmaceutical companies make most of their
Oh,
money
they finally came to the
Most of their
party.
profits.
Send the bulls in.
from America. That's not a good thing.
Come on, Trump.
Now, I think, by the way, pharmaceutical, I have great respect for these companies and for the people that run them. I really do. And
Okay,
I
well,
think
let's
they've done
wrap it
one of
up,
the
Trump.
greatest jobs in
Let's get
history
back
for
to
their
trading.
company,
Let's
convincing
wrap it
people
up.
For many years that this was a fair system.
Let's wrap it up.
Nobody really understood why, but I figured
Any
it
exposure to Asian
out. For years,
markets?
pharmaceutical
No,
and drug
nothing.
companies have said that
Just
research
local,
and
trying
development
to
costs were
get out of that
they are,
local
for no
portfolio.
reason whatsoever. They had to be borne by America alone. Not anymore, they don't. This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems.
Brown just scared. He says he's
in
got a
Germany
way of everything's going
in all
fine now,
parts of the European Union.
and he's
They-
got
they
a
were the
way of
toughest all. They
saying
were
something
nasty. And I
unnecessary.
see that with
No,
trade.
just
The
before he's gonna
European
walk
Just
off the
just
podium,
before it's
he'll-
like that
he's gonna
awkward thing.
nuke you.
Union, China.
There we go.
Okay.
China. What did he
And,
say?
We've just started with them. Oh, they'll come down a lot. You watch. We have all the cards. They treated us very
Very-
unfairly.
You see
They
what he's
sell
doing?
us 13 million cars. We sell them none. They sell us their agricultural products. We sell them virtually none.
Trump.
They don't
stop
take
now.
our products.
We've got it.
That gives us all the cards, and very unfair. So they're going to have to pay more for health care, and we're going to have to pay less. That's all it is. And believe it or not, because it's really the world we're talking about, not just the European Union, but because it's the world, the numbers
Trump.
are
Trump.
the numbers are for the healthcare company not as bad as you would think. They'll make the same. I think the healthcare companies should make pretty much the same money. I really don't believe they should be affected very much because it's just a redistribution of wealth. It's a redistribution where could be the same top line, but it's going to be distributed
Wrap it up.
differently. Europe's
Wheels
going to have
up.
to pay a
Get
little bit more.
to Saudi Arabia, my
The rest
brother.
of the world's going to have to pay a little bit more, and America's going to pay a lot less.
Okay,
Again,
wrap it
because
up.
it's a much smaller population than when you think of the whole world.
Let's wrap it up.
So basically, what we're doing is equalizing. There's a new word that I came up with, which I think is probably the best word. We're going to equalize.
Isn't
We're
equalizing a
all going
word
to pay
already?
the same. We're going to pay what Europe's going to pay. We're going to all pay. Now, there may be some countries in dire need, and I would be willing to sacrifice that, but and help them.
Okay, here we go.
But it's called most favored nation. We are
there
going to
we go.
pay the lowest price there is in the world.
Most favorite nation.
We will get whoever is paying the lowest price. That's the price that we're
You-
going
you
to
see-
get.
you
So
see what he
remember
did
that.
there?
So we're no
That-
longer paying 10 times more than another country. Whoever is paying the lowest
Jack
price,
and
we will
Son,
look at
it's
that price and we
literally
will say that's the price we're
love.
going to pay. Most favored nations. That's what it is.
Bro, stop now.
One
we
breast
get it.
cancer
Stop.
drug costs Americans over $16,000 per bottle, but the same drug from the same factory, manufactured by the same company, is 1/6 that price in
stop.
Australia
Stop.
and 1/10 that price in Sweden. 1/10 for the identical product.
Just send it.
A common asthma drug costs almost $500 here in America, but costs less than $40 in the United Kingdom. So $40
Do you still want to listen
in
to
the
him?
United Kingdom, which is
was
where
just-
this gentleman told me he
you
paid
break even
a
now.
small amount for his
But I
shot.
want him to send it, though. Full
But
send.
Hey,
think of that.
you in
So
the blues, bro.
$40
Close out.
versus $500 here. That's not even bad. There are much worse examples. And the weight loss drug, Ozempic, costs 10 times more in the United States
more
than
now.
in the
I was
rest
on
of the
Ozempic.
developed world. 10 times more. Why? Why? What did we do? Suckers. But we never had a president that had the courage to do this.
Trump, stop it,
And
bro.
nobody knew the system
I wonder if he
like
tells
I do. I
bedtime
mean, I've
stories
gotten
the
to know the
same
system so well.
Bro, he's going to put
And I
me
don't
to
think
sleep.
it's fair
This
that
is
it
almost like an
benefits
ICT
Obamacare.
video.
Obamacare is a
Yeah.
failure. It's not a good health care. It works. I made it work. I had an obligation to make it work, or an obligation to let it die. I chose that we had to make it work. I had to make it as good as possible. And I had a choice. I could have let it fail or make it as good as possible. As good as possible means it was still not very good, but it survived.
No,
And we
he's
did the
definitely
right
talking
thing.
in circles
But
now.
this makes everything work.
I think he's got
And
like a
I don't wanna
timeline that he needs to speak
Have
on.
a bad form of healthcare work because of the fact I was able to cut drug prices by
Let's
80 or
send it.
90%.
Let's send it.
So we're
There
going
we
to
go,
maybe come
Chad.
up with something. I think this gives the Republicans a chance to actually do a health care that's much better than Obamacare and for less money, which if you guys would work on that along with Congress. But I do want to say that Democrats could have done this a long time ago. They have fought like hell for the drug companies.
Bro, that is
And they
the
knew they were
daily
doing the wrong
R5.
thing.
Why
it's gonna
am
be
I
very hard.
buying above the daily
I was
R5?
just telling the leaders
Why am I buying?
very hard
Now
for
looking at it,
Democrats
daily R5 is
to
there,
vote
dude.
against the one
You buying
Big
when you're
beautiful
already
deal.
nearly 3% up on the day.
greatest tax cuts in history, greatest
No,
everything.
bro,
But now you have the big
I think.
drug prices because that's going to be included.
But here's the
It makes
thing,
that
though.
whole
The
situation
trade is
different
valid while we hold
from a
above here.
scoring standpoint.
Yeah.
I just told them, I called them up. about
Fair
this.
speaking to
I
make the
said, "We're gonna
market
do something
consolidate.
that's going to be very monumental, and you're going to be scoring. You better tell your
Trump is waiting for the signal from his
people
friends
that
that
this
everyone
is gonna
stacks
score
some
really well,
positions
and then
before he
add-
lets the market fly.
add hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs to your list also.
Chad, yeah, if you took this with me, I'm gonna give it 5 more minutes. I just want to see when it wraps up, but I might exit this trade purely based off the idea we're not moving away from this level. Even though volume to some extent started pushing above here, so I'm just going to monitor VWAP here on Bookmap. If we can't hold above VWAP and we can't start pushing higher, then it's a terrible trade. But if we can hold above VWAP, I do think there's another leg in this. Alright, so
than the rest of the world and far more expensive than
I
when he
honestly
even
didn't
got
know
involved.
Trump was speaking. Otherwise, I would
Much
have
more expensive
never.
than when he got involved. Joe Biden's plan was as you know, because you wrote about it. You don't say it very loudly, but it was a
Dude,
very
come
big
on,
failure.
stop it
was
now.
his whole presidency. First time.
Send Papa
directing
P
the
to
US
speech,
Trade
we would have been in and
Representative
out
from
quick,
the Department of Commerce to
100%.
begin
I'm really gonna peek
investigations
it.
into foreign nations that extort drug companies by blocking their
Watch now when I
products
come
unless they
back. When he
accept bottom
stops
line
talking, he's just gonna
and very low
say
dollar
like,
amounts for their
stock
product,
market is
unfairly
strong,
shifting the
and when
cost
I
burden
get
onto
back after
American
my P,
patients.
we're gonna be trading somewhere
And
there.
we'll be taking a look at that very
That's also
strongly.
where I'll
The
go
biggest
break
thing we're
even,
gonna
Chad.
do is we're going to tell those countries
We choose
like
to lose when we
those
want to, but we're
represented by
not
the
choosing to
European
lose
Union
now.
We
that
like
they-
it,
you know,
we
their
like
game
it.
is up.
Who's
Sorry.
gonna win?
The
And if they
only
wanna
problem
get
is
mute,
you,
then
you're
they don't
trading
have to sell
in the
cars into
illegal
the
zone at
United
the
States
moment.
anymore. It's a very big subject. And they won't get cute. Because I'll defend the drug companies from that standpoint. They were given a price by the European unions and other countries. This is what you do. This is what we're going to pay. We're not going to pay any more. Let America pay the difference because there was a big shortfall. Let America pay it. And that's what we did, but we're not doing it anymore. Next, my administration will secure what we're calling most favored nations drug pricing. The principle is simple. Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay. And we're using the term other developed countries because there are some countries that need some additional help, and that's fine. I think that's very good. Some prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 50 to 80 to 90%. Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the power of the federal government to ensure that we are paying the same price as other countries. To accelerate these price restrictions and reductions, my administration will also cut out the middlemen. We're going to totally cut out the famous middlemen. Nobody knows who they are.
famous
I've
middlemen.
been hearing the term for 25 years. Middlemen. I don't know who they are, but they're rich. That I can tell you. We're going to cut out the middlemen and facilitate the direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation price directly to the American citizen. So we're cutting out, Bobby, the middlemen. It's so important, right? They got to do that. They're worse than the drug companies. They don't even make a product, and they make a fortune.
Sure.
It's very smart
Sure.
business people, that I can tell you. If companies make no significant progress toward most favored nation pricing, which we will insist that they do, so I think I'm wasting time talking about it. We're going to insist upon it.
Sure.
And we'll insist, and we're going to help the drug companies with the other nations, because those other nations do a
Sure.
lot of trading with us. They need our trade just like China needed us very badly. They need us just as badly.
I hate to
And
be
we
that
will
guy. The
do
1
whatever we have
minute
to with
just
trade.
gave
Just
us
like
all.
we did some great things with trade with India and Pakistan.
I think
Cleaning up the situation, very heated situation.
I'm cooked, yeah.
It was millions
I
of
hate
people.
to be
more
that
than
guy, bro.
millions, I mean, many millions of people.
Are you gonna take this side?
And
Yeah, why
they want
not?
to do business.
Are you
with
taking
our
it?
Yeah.
We never used our
No, man, Keeks. Why do you go against the... Am I still in here?
We'll also open up
Your
America's
belly.
market to safe and legal imports of affordable drugs from other countries, putting
You're
dramatic downward pressure on prices.
Whoa, why did this appear?
And if
Okay, it's back.
necessary, we'll investigate the drug companies and we'll, in particular, investigate the
Okay,
countries that are
we're
doing
done with
this,
Trump.
and we will add it on.
Let's go full screen here. Alrighty, chat, let's look at it. Currently struggling to get away from this level. 1 minute, 55 seconds left. VWAP, as mentioned, failing to hold above, but currently ranging. To be very honest with you guys, it is not looking good either side. This is just very consolidative. I took a jab there, and yeah, I won't take any further part in this. I'm only looking for that potential last hurrah outside of this range. See if we can get some volume on the top of that volume shelf, and that will be my only trade for this session. Otherwise, we'll wait to see how the daily is going to close. This is currently very consolidative since about 12:35.
Michael, technically it's actually not with the new concept.
What is that?
He was asking with the new concept we're testing for Iron 1000, is that sell valid with it? Technically it's not.
Technically it is.
It's not.
Why not?
So first thing is you would have taken.
No, wait. Righty. Yeah, Chad, no, it is. What is gold doing? Let's quickly check gold.
It's tough out here, guys.
Gold is also now grinding in that level. Daily S2, as mentioned, currently struggling there. Could actually see this come lower. GBP USD, there's that test on that key level. Previous daily low, currently rejecting there, as mentioned. Could go lower. GJ, also mentioned to you guys, potentially higher on GJ. Looking on the 30 and the 15, there's that consolidation. There's that break to the upside. The cells starting to look juicy. Can the cells produce? Can the cells produce? Personally, I am not going to sell in the 1 minute. I think it gave, just show you guys, it gave a sell there. Right. There, boom. That's me. Kachinga out of this trade. So 1% on the day down for me. That first sell there didn't go break even on TP1. Then this sell I didn't take because I was buying China.
Don't go against China, bro.
Going against my own rules when I said.
There it goes.
Did you take it?
I was still in the first time I said I was taking it.
Jay, Kigo.
Did I not say I took it earlier?
Kigo. No, you took it. Alrighty. Let's see what the 5 minute also give a
Keys, but a 5 minute sell now should be valid. Oh, damn. Did I give a 5 as well now?
No, not yet. Not yet. No, it won't give a 5 minute sell now. Alrighty, let's just get some music here. That was intense, Chad. I think gold also gave a sell there somewhere on the 1 minute. Yeah, there it gave a sell. There was the buy.
It was a nice move there, Chad.
Yeah, I know.
I just wanted to run though.
The shorts.
Yeah.
Dude, and I was waiting for this. Impatience. Chad,
there we go, Chad. There we go. I'm out. I'm closing.
Huh?
I'm closing.
Are you out?
Yeah.
Bro.
Right, I waited the whole day for that. That already.
Did you go break even on this one? This one, yeah. TP1.
Yeah.
Damn, Kigo. What a guy. But Keys, why don't you hold it to 42.037?
Bro. The way markets have been, I just think it's a bit choppy today.
I honestly...
I'm going to take my percents and...
Keeks, I'm not going to lie to you. This thing can easily...
No, I agree with you, bro.
Easily another 110.
But I'm not going to be a wanker here, bro. At the end of the day, that trade was still $2,400. So I'm taking that. That's...
Wait, but... Wait, how much are you risking the trade then?
She keep sitting there like, whoa.
No. How did you? Because...
Okay, look at the stop size.
Okay, so the stop loss was 94.
Okay, and what did I risk?
You risked 60.
Mm.
And you closed out there for 0.8. So you're risking 3%.
I closed just under TP1.
Okay. Oh, so are you risking 2.5% per trade?
2%, not 2.5.
Two. Okay.
If I'm up, I risk 2.
Okay.
Remember, I still said to
Oh,
you this,
yeah,
I told you this morning. From the first trade, I was up already 1% for the day.
I said and you add. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I check. So you add on the winners. Beautiful. I'm down.
Myself and Bunang actually had to talk about this the one London session where I think if you guys that were there, we spoke about it. When you up on a day, if you are going to overtrade, that is the time you over leverage, because when you up on the day, your percentage for the day has gone up in your loss period now. So for example, if I'm, let's say, already up 2%, my daily drawdown isn't now 5%, it's 7%. So if you are going to trade on a day you've already had profits, those are the days, because then you can maximize. You actually increase your equity and your let's say drawdown for the daily period, so it makes it a lot more comfortable for yourself.
Hey, dude. Iron 2000 put in a shift today.
Yeah.
NASDAQ, US 30. There it goes. Yes, dude, Chad. I'm kak bleek, geeks. Bleak. There it is. US 30, Chad. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Yeah. Easy. Currently now, TP3. Easy. TP3 right there. TP3. Easter 2000. Right there, chat. TP3 very, very likely now. Let's just look at Bookmap. Yeah. Volume is starting to pick up here on these lows. That is why we only looked for sells. I was honestly a little bit cooked with those bars. It happens. It happens. Almost selling US 30. Thanks for our flip. Trade management, Chris, you should join. Hey, 50 cal. No, you know what? The reason why I didn't go break even there was because I was expecting this. And you can ask Keegs this morning. What was my bias for like this entire session on US 30? And then I got flustered as well, yes. So
I'm going to say, Chad, if you were here earlier, you would see he literally was sharing his bias with you guys earlier.
bro, but that's trading. You get emotional, you get riled up, you just want to check here, Kia, before we start wrapping up.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you ready.
I just want to see that that thing we talked about in the car in terms of the report. Okay, nice, we got it.
Yeah.
Check there. You got it. Keys, I'm just gonna throw on your screen. I just want to do something before we wrap up. I just want to do something quickly here, Chad.
So the guys can see. This obviously had the filter on. That's the one you guys are seeing now. There was the cell.
It's looking juicy, Keeks. All right. Even in Project G, Chris did say sell, and I sent some back up. Figure on it. Don't even go there, my bro. Don't go there. The impatience killed me from not trading this morning. So, anyways, wait. There's another signal that's 7 minutes ago. Okay. Chad, before I give over to Keegs, please help us reach 100 reviews on Trustpilot. We are going to do a giveaway. Keegs, the giveaway for the TV and the PlayStation. Where are we with that?
We spoke on Friday with Thingy.
Yeah.
He's busy putting it together for us. I was actually following up today with him.
Okay, so we might be able to...
We should be able to do it tomorrow. Today was just very busy, guys, so we didn't actually follow
tomorrow,
up. But I'll literally...
Are you going to follow up after... Okay.
Yeah.
So we can just get that done. Chad, then the other thing is Iron 2000. We now currently have a very good working system in place. So after you've done all the steps, we can now actually assist you guys very, very quickly. Almost like McDonald's, but without the additives. Quick and fast. Not a third window. We're going to help you already at the second window. And Chad, it has been an incredible day. It has been a fruitful day. And Kigo, I think you can wrap us up here. Did I miss anything? I feel like I missed something.
Pretty much, that's it. Chad, yeah, good stream here today. Again, as I said, we spoke about this last week. Markets bringing volume in, but they bring it in a little bit later, where we've had to really sit and be patient. And at the end of the day, the patience comes in, we're waiting, and we get in the trades you want to get. So it is a bit difficult. We want to be there, we want to be trading, but sometimes that's it. It's a waiting game, and that's why we always say maybe trading isn't always the most fun thing. It is a bit boring, but that's the discipline. Chris, good having you here in New York session as always, my brother. And Chad, we're going to see you guys tomorrow. As I said, literally already sent a message following up about the giveaway, so hopefully we can do that giveaway live with you guys tomorrow. But other than that, Chad, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Peace and love, baby. Cheers.
Keeks, just show them what top you're wearing. Chad, this is now when you start making bags. Just show them the top.
Chad, he's making such a thing just because of like...
Chad, just to give you an idea, so the weekend I went to go get my wife some Mother's Day stuff, and I walked past a couple of those country road jerseys, and I'm like, yes, these are actually quite nice, and I picked them up and I feel them, and I'm like, this is decent. And I look at the price, and the one I was looking at I think was like 1.8, and I'm like, country road, like I've never even heard of her. Like I've seen my wife and them wear it, but I'm like, 1.8. Are these guys on something? And then this morning, this man runs in here with I'm like, Keeks, bro, gotta cut down on that spending. That price tag is heavy, Chad. But anyways, Chad, peace and love, baby.
Awesome. Cheers, Chad.
Cheers.
Thank